So students, in today's lecture we are going to discuss about interconnect modeling and extraction. Last lecture we discussed about interconnect scaling and how to improve the interconnect. Now we will be discussing about interconnect design criteria, modeling and how to do analysis for the interconnect performance. So mostly, as we have seen earlier, whenever interconnects are scaled down, global interconnect, there is an adverse effect on the global interconnect. So what are the parameters or you can say design criteria for which we are very much concerned for the interconnect performance? So it is overall performance, that is speed of the signal traveling through the interconnect, power consumption, signal integrity and reliability. So these are the you can say design goals for interconnect design. So why interconnect modeling is critical? Because we have scaled down the interconnects from 1 micron to 14 nanometer over a period of, we can say, 30-40 years. So types of interconnect model. So earlier interconnects were modeled because it is a wire, conducting wire, so it was modeled using it is a short circuit model, so wire is short. Later on, when further it was scaled down, it started showing, because inter distance between the two parallel running interconnect is decreasing. As a result, coupling effect is found, means the signal which is traveling in one wire is found that it is coupled in the second wire. So that is why there is a capacitive coupling. So that is why later on they have started modeling the interconnect using capacitance, or you can say C model. Then later on further drop, because interconnects were so long that the IR drop is also found, so signal getting deteriorated. So as a result it was model using RC model. Later on, the lambda length of the interconnects is increased too much. So as a result, uh, LDI by dt effect is also found. So as a result, overshoots and undershoots are also occurring along the to the signal along the wire. So that is why the later on interconnect is, or you can say your wire is modeled as RLC model. So types of model here, what we have discussed in the previous slide, between 1960 to 70 interconnect was modeled as a short, then 70 to 80 C model, after 80s and today RC, or 2000, after 2000 RLC. So what are the interconnect design criteria? Interconnect delay, bandwidth, noise, power dissipation, physical area. So these are the parameters for which we are, or you can say these are the design criteria for the performance of the interconnect. So interconnect delay. So how we are calculating the delay? So TINT is interconnect delay. Whenever signal is traveling along the interconnect, the started traveling and traveling ended, that time is called interconnect delay. That give the computational efficiency. So T period means signal which is traveling is having some frequency. So that is the time period of the signal which is traveling is T. Then that must be greater or equal to TC Q delay plus TINT interconnect delay plus T logic delay plus T setup delay. So signal which is traveling through the interconnect will not be deteriorated if the T period is greater or equal to these all delays. What are those delays? Your setup time of the D flip flop. Consider this circuit which is given. So there is a, you can see here two D flip flops are there. So that is setup time while delay. Then logic calculation delay, you can say propagation delay. Then interconnect, this interconnect delay. So if you add up all these delays, that must be smaller than time period of the signal. So we need to focus on optimizing interconnect delay. So now these are logic delay etc. are fixed. So what we can focus here is we can also work out on this interconnect delay in order to increase the speed of the circuit or operating speed, or you can say clock speed. If we want to increase, then we have to reduce the interconnect delay. That's what this slide want to say. So bandwidth is the another criteria. So what is bandwidth? Maximum number of bits that can interconnect can reliably transmit. So bandwidth is given as 1 by t bit minimum bit per second. So it is dependent on 4 times this t bit, right? So what is tt? Bandwidth proportional to reciprocal of delay. Higher bandwidth reduces the total time required to transmit certain amount of data, increasing the speed of the system. So you can see here total time is given, t bit is given as t rising plus t falling plus ts. So if you add all this time, that is called your t bit. So your bandwidth is inversely proportional to the t bit. So it is important to optimize overall bandwidth rather than bandwidth of a single interconnect. So if you can see here, there are two types of wires shown. One is very wide and another is very slim. So thinner wire exhibit a higher wire density, right? In the same area, we can accommodate more number of wires. That is called density. And if you have a thick wires, what will happen? Less number of your wire density will be less. So overall bandwidth. So with thin wires, overall bandwidth increase. Delay per line, which is not what is delay per line is high. So delay per line will be high in this case. Why? Because in this case width is smaller. So smaller is the width, delay will be larger for individual wire. But overall density will be more. So there is always a trade-off. So wider line give lower delay of a single interconnect, but overall density of the interconnect is reduced. So overall bandwidth is reduced. So there is always trade-off between these two types of wires. So bandwidth for global interconnect, it is important design criteria. Example is interconnect between cache memory and processor or among various processors within the multi-core architecture. Bandwidth determine overall speed. Multiplexing in time multiple bits using single wire is an attractive option. Reduce the area of on-chip data buses. So bandwidth of the interconnect is limiting factor for the time multiplexing. So third important criteria is noise. So what is noise? Whenever signal is traveling through the interconnect, it is affected by the noise. So noise in analog and digital domain, both. Noise margin issues due to technology scaling, critical path and critical circuit delay, more sensitive to noise. So signal integrity due to small device. So that will be discussed in detail, how noise is related with the interconnect design. So density of the device within a circuit making is noise and noise coupling among various circuit elements a primary concern for nanoscale ICs. So digital circuit with static CMOS logic is immune to noise due to high noise margins. The problem of noise arises because of noise margins are reduced due to scaling of power supply and threshold voltage, making digital circuit more sensitive to noise. Operating frequencies have increased and placing more constraint on timing requirement of critical path. The sensitivity of circuit delay to noise has become significant. The delay of interconnect has become comparable or greater than the delay of logic gates in the deep submicron technologies. So two types of noises are there whenever signal is traveling. One is power supply noise and ground noise, and another is interconnect noise. That is called interconnect noise is crosstalk, and a power supply noise electromagnetic coupling, that is RF and microwave coupling. And power supply noise is, as I told you, di by dt noise that will give undershoot and overshoots to the signal, and another is IR drop. So these all are the noise which are affecting the signals. So we should design such that we can minimize these noises. Another criteria is power dissipation. So due to increase in the clock frequency and higher level of on-chip integration, dynamic power dissipation is increased. Why? Because formula for the dynamic power dissipation is FCV square. So as F is increased, That is why your dynamic power is increased. So on-chip power dissipation of modern processor is 100 of watts. Total power dissipation is sum of short circuit, dynamic and leakage power. So you can see a static power is given as VDD square into F into C. So power dissipation is leakage power plus dynamic power plus static power. So dynamic, you can see here what is the amount. So 51% is interconnect power dissipation and 15% is diffusion capacitance and 34% is because of the gate capacitance. So this is how power is dissipated. So then fifth is the physical area. So more than 2 billion transistor in a single IC. So number of interconnect also increased significantly. Number of metal layers to provide sufficient metal resources for interconnect routing up to 11 layers. Additional layer increase fabrication cost. Buffer and pipeline resistors inserted along the interconnect further increase the silicon area. So this much we will be discussing today, students, in the lecture number, you can say 6. So thank you very much. Thank you.